2024. It's been a little too long. My apologies. It's been 36 hours. Oh, 2 days? No, yeah. I didn't post yesterday. Sorry, I just needed a day off. So I've been tabulating, and so here we are. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. It's funny, there's been people thinking like, oh, the election's over, everything is just nice and fine and good and well. And, well, this report's got a couple of things in there you might want to pay attention to. There's a report, unconfirmed, that the Ayatollah Khomeini has died. So we don't know. It's from a pretty solid source, so potentially true. We'll have to see. And then also, Netanyahu's home in Caesarea, whatever it is, got hit again. Got struck by drones again. And that tends to make him like to really do nasty things to Hezbollah. Hezbollah turned down the ceasefire. So, all this stuff is still ongoing in the background. So as people sit there and quibble over cabinet picks and recess appointments and yada, 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 there's still a lot of crap going on in a lot of war zones. So North Korea's given Russia a bunch of howitzers, do some fairly long, short to medium range, but longer than like, a football field kind of strikes on different areas. There's a lot going on. So this is actually a longer report, a lot because of the, the time, but also there's some actual things starting to happen. It's funny, the Middle East Spectator, I think it was, he said, to be honest with you guys, there's not a lot going on right now. And then after that, like, all these kind of crazy reports started to come out. So, excuse me. So we're going to cover it all. I'm not going to get real analytical or long-winded because of the length, or we'll be here for like an hour or so, and I don't want to do that. I do try to keep these at about 30 to 45 minutes. So I get everything in there, but you're not sitting there, wasting your time away. And if you got the time to spend all of it on any one of these social medias, like all day, any day of the week, then you might want to redo things. So you should be out living your best life, doing all kinds of go do stuff, right? Go make things happen. I was coaching some sports ball at a big meeting last night. This is actually the first weekend since, I think July that I have not had some form of a musical engagement. So I do play a lot of music. I love it. I got practice tomorrow, but it's good for me. Keeps me young. All right, folks, about 4 minutes in. I'm going to get started now. Hit the like button, do the engagement thing, all that. If you're new here, darken out the bell, get all the notifications. I'm on the very slow growth plan here on the tube, but we're growing nonetheless. It's all good. This I see this channel more as like a public service. So if you like what we're doing here, you can be like Texan42 and the other fantastic people that support this by being members. There's Subscribestar and Locals. I just put a bunch of posts on there tonight. Try to do about 10 a day there. Just need just happy to have the support. That's the thing. Like other channels, they want you to, check out their EMP bags and stuff like that. I am the product. If you like the information that I'm giving to you and going out and curating it and putting it into a place where you can get the transcript, which is right in front of you on Substack, and just like having a guy with a background in this kind of go through it and just tell you straight up what's up. So you don't have to sit there and watch video after video after video. You can put this on, snap on the headphones and go garden or do whatever it is you do and play this in the background, listen, drive to work. That's kind of what I want to do. So if you like what we're doing, feel free to support. And if not, I don't know, maybe let a commercial play through. It all adds up. All right, friends. Got 100 in the room, about 5 minutes in. Let's get started with the crisis report for November 16th, 2024. Here we go. Magnitude 6.6 quake struck Papua New Guinea, according to USGS. United States finalized up to $6.6 billion funding for chip giant Taiwan Semiconductor. Argentina's Milei says Trump's win is the greatest comeback. Trump does have a new political ad out, patting himself on the back. Israel destroyed active nuclear weapons research facility in Iran, according to Axios. Scholz was in a call with Putin, and he condemned the war in Ukraine and urged talks, according to Berlin. Israeli attack on Iran in late October destroyed an active top-secret nuclear weapons research facility in Parshin, according to 3 U.S. officials, 1 current Israeli official and 1 former Israeli official. Krimsk military airfield in the Krasnodar region has been attacked. Russian Defense Ministry says air defense has destroyed 51 drones over Russia. Israeli forces struck a building in the Tayun neighborhood of Beirut. UN Special Committee says Israel's war methods are consistent with JASE. Yes, the only reason why I don't say that word is because it is one of those trigger words, okay? That's the only reason why. I want people to hear the message, and if I use a bunch of trigger words, then they don't put you anywhere. Hacker group linked to Iran claims to have infiltrated a financial system in Israel. Hezbollah shows footage from the attack on Israel's Army Qiddiya military base in central Tel Aviv, executed using Qadr 2 ballistic missiles launched from concealed underground facilities, approximately 250 to 300 kilometer range, allowing strikes deep into Israeli territory. North Korean M1978 Kokshan 170 millimeter self-propelled guns have been spotted on trains within the city of Krasnoyarsk in central Russia. We'll have an update on that at the end of this broadcast. Economic situation encourages people to steal more often in Estonia, according to authorities. According to Lisa Pakosta, Minister of Justice and Digital Development, socioeconomic situation of people in Estonia is also linked to the rise in crime. People have started stealing more when there is no money. Crime has been declining for 10 years, but last year it started to rise. Previously, we were one of the few countries where crime was decreasing, Pakosta said. By doing so, we are not out of the European trend. In general, crime has been increasing in Europe for many years, and now this growth has come to Estonia as well. Goes on from there. Fun fact, if crime is increasing, it means that the government is doing a crappy job. Trump is suing media outlets for $10 billion, accusing them of bias. He has filed lawsuits against the New York Times, CBS, and other organizations alleging defamation and political prejudice. Yeah. Yeah. So, Pentagon is rushing to conceal evidence of how it prioritized diversity, equity, and inclusion over combat readiness. Generals reacting to the incoming Trump administration's plans to publicly remove woke senior military leaders. How about we just get people in there that will fight and win wars? That's all I care about. I don't care what you look like, what you do in your private life. Win the war. If your job is to win wars, then win them. Elon Musk is now following Alexander Soros, the son of George Soros, on X. Okay. Trump's first promise to Israel, according to Israel's Channel 12, was on the first day of my term. I'll cancel all restrictions and delays on the transfer of armaments and equipment to Israel. Trump will do so as promised. He will also arm Netanyahu to continue the G side, as this person puts it, and the potential annexing of the West Bank. That was a big worry yesterday and the day before. Probably have posts on that as well. So yeah, that's conjecture from there. So Trump did say that. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz held a phone call with President Putin of Russia, first time in almost 3 years. Trump says he wants to eliminate free speech on college campuses on behalf of Israel. All right, well, this is, again, Eastern-leaning telegram, so they're anti-Trump. Says, my first week back in the Oval Office, my administration will inform every college president that if you do not end anti-Semitic propaganda, they will lose their accreditation and federal taxpayer support. There is a difference between criticizing Israel and then, of course, doing actual anti-Semitism. So, after their unsuccessful boycott, IBM, Disney, Comcast, Discovery, Warner Brothers, and Lionsgate Entertainment have all returned to advertising on X. Now, everybody's all excited about Blue Sky. Blue Sky. Oh, we're all going to go to Blue Sky. No, about 20 million super, politics is my religion, wokesters are going to go over there, and they're going to create an echo chamber. Now, this was created by Jack Dorsey, so it kind of has the feel and look of Twitter, but Jack resigned and is not with them anymore, and he did that back in May. So they're going to be pushed all high heaven in the media, and they're going to say this is the second coming, just like they did with Threads. Threads has 250 million users, but that's because of Instagram. So anybody getting their hopes up that Blue Sky is going to take over Twitter and X is just, no, it's not going to happen. CNN reports that reporters have been seen crying and hugging in the hallway after Matt Gaetz' nomination for Attorney General. They asked Thomas Massie of Kentucky. He said it's going to be a recess appointment, and he is going to be your AG, so suck it up. After 17 years of campaigning, Colombia has officially banned child marriages. Good. House Democrats admit to forming a shadow government aimed at undermining Donald Trump. Because why would you want to sit there and go, hey, why do we get our ass kicked in the election? What we should do is more things that are absolutely illegal. These people never learn. When you get your butt kicked, you go back, you crown them, and say, okay, we could have done this, we could have done that, and we will fix this, we'll tweak that, and we'll get better here, and we'll get that. You know, that's what you do. You get yourself better. You don't let's make something illegal and try to crush the country in the process. These people are mentally, they're mental. 3 of Malcolm X's daughters have filed a $100 million lawsuit against the CIA, FBI, and the New York Police Department, accusing them of being complicit in his death. Bernie Sanders announced he will collaborate with Trump to cap credit card interest rate at 10%, condemning big banks charging usurious rates of up to 30%. Please do it. Department of Justice lawyers have reportedly indicated they would resign if Matt Gaetz is appointed Attorney General. Good. Please do it. Twitch has announced that it will categorize the term Zionist as a potential slur under hateful conduct policy. Platform clarified that using the term to attack or demean individuals or groups based on their background or religious beliefs will be considered a violation of its rule. Okay, I think that's a little too much. World Bank officials are panicking as scrutiny intensifies over $24 billion in unaccounted climate funds, coupled with the looming threat of severe budget cuts following Trump's pledge to slash U.S. government spending. China's Xi has warned of growing unilateralism in the world. Biden says the world is facing a moment of significant political change. By the way, Joe Rogan said that Joe Biden totally voted for Trump. I don't know. Maybe he did. A federal judge in Texas on Friday permanently blocked a Biden administration rule that would have made about 4 million more salaried U.S. workers eligible for overtime pay. Because Lord knows they're not making enough right now. T-Mobile hacked in massive Chinese breach of telecom networks. Trump announces Caroline Leavitt as the White House press secretary, lovely young blonde lady. During a rare phone call with Vladimir Putin, Germany's Scholz urged for peace with Ukraine. Talks. German Chancellor also reiterated that he remains fully supportive of Kiev. Russian government has introduced temporary restrictions on the export of enriched uranium to the United States Restrictions will also affect foreign trade agreements and entities registered under the U.S. jurisdiction. Exceptions include deliveries under one-time licenses issued by the Federal Service, Technical and Export Control. Move is in response to the U.S. restrictions in Russian uranium imports 24 to 27, complete ban starting in 28. In September, during a government meeting, Putin instructed an analysis of the possibility of restricting the supply of strategic raw materials to foreign markets. German pensioners' house is raided by police for calling Green Minister Robert Habeck a Schwarzkopf, or imbecile, in a meme on social media. Habeck himself had filed the criminal complaint which led to the raid at 6 a.m. in the morning. I mean, if you're calling the police on people for calling you an imbecile, I think you have basically affirmed to everybody that you are an imbecile. And now now we can tack on asshole to imbecile. IDF is striking in Beirut following an evacuation order issued earlier. Lebanese reports the IDF advanced in a depth of 6 kilometers in the western sector. Lebanese newspaper Al Akhbar, which is affiliated with Hezbollah, claims to be reporting on Hezbollah's battles with the IDF in the village of Shima, 6 kilometers north of the border. According to the newspaper, the IDF arrived at Derech Houadi village near the Tir Harfa. Hezbollah itself confirms it fired rockets at the village of Tir Harfa, which is on the second line after Yaron. Firing rockets at IDF forces means that there is no fighting in this area and the village is occupied. Purpose of the maneuver is to capture all the villages in the second line, the western sector. 2 more evacuation orders were just issued by the IDF to buildings in Beirut's Dakhia district. Strike will be soon. Media is taking its positions across from the buildings. Daily Show will begin soon. And Dakhia, that area has been just basically obliterated. It looks like Gaza now. It's just rubble. According to a Lebanese source close to Hezbollah, Israel's goal is to advance towards the sea and circle the southern western sector. According to the source, if Israel succeeds this, it will be a severe blow to Hezbollah. Trump just crossed over the 76 million vote threshold, first time ever for a Republican candidate in history to get that. He had 76,133,250 so far. Israeli hooligans beat up French football supporters on the ground in the Stade de France in Paris during national football teams played against each other yesterday. Suburbs of Beirut this morning look like Gaza City, according to airstrikes. Russian spy ship Yantar was yesterday lurking under water infrastructure in the Irish Sea off the Isle of Man. Yantar turned off the AIS, or Automatic Identification System. They were lurking. Israel will move to annex the West Bank in 2025. This is a prediction by many people, not just this jackass from time to time. This will be this will take the Middle East crisis to a whole nother level. It will. And to be honest with you, tonight, things have been kind of going pretty chill, you know. There's actually some positive moves towards peace in the last week, really, since, of course, the election. And tonight and in the last 48 hours, there's been some things that are like kind of putting us back into, yes, this actually is a big war going on between these two countries, and neither side are anywhere near stopping. So enjoy this nice little respite, because I think it's going to get nastier coming up. And by the way, I've seen some other channels kind of make some predictions. If I'm going to make a prediction, I'm going to do it because I really do think it's a possibility of happening. I don't do these things because I'm trying to get clicks, or I'm worried about, you know, this channel and you know, like I love my YouTube, I love my channels and all that, but there's absolutely nothing I do here to basically stoke, how do I put it? Like, I want people to come here, but I'm not doing this because Like I'm worried that people aren't watching. Like 'cause there's been a noticeable decline in viewership in the last 10 days because of the election. Everybody's kind of like turned it off, and it's fine, it's great, it's good for them. So some people will do things to kind of like stoke fear or like make claims. And there's been a few of these channels. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but they've made some like post names, and I'm not going to do that. Like if there's something going on, like the Khomeini dead thing, there's an actual post that says that. I'm not going to say something just to like get clicks or whatever. I'll put a cool looking thumbnail. I might put like an open-ended kind of thing out there, but we're supposed to do that from YouTube. But just for the record, nothing I do here is because I'm like, this will get the clicks. New Israeli Defense Minister Katz has sent 7,000 recruitment orders to ultra-Orthodox Jews. By the way, if you actually do like that, having more than 40 people like this video would be great. 120 or so in the room here on this wonderful Saturday night. If you could just pop out and hit that like button and come on back, we would most appreciate it. It definitely helps us in the algorithm and all that. And that's the thing about YouTube. There's certain things you got to do. There's certain things they want you to do. They want your video names to be open-ended. They want cool-looking thumbnails and yada, yada. They want you to try to stoke people to come back. And, it is what it is. They're a business. They want business to be drummed up, and we're the salespeople. So, Kevin Grip, thank you so much for doing that. But you get the point. Thank you for tapping out and liking and coming on back. 15 paramedics were killed in Israeli strikes that hit Civil Defense Center in Baalbek on Thursday. Australia has opened the main story of the digital ID, or otherwise digital personal documents. So now they're doing the digital ID thing, at least they're trying to in a limited way in Australia. And it's to ban access to social networks for those under 16. So they say, to ban kids under 16 from getting these terrible ideas on social networks, we need all of y'all to, put your identification out there so everybody knows we need a digital ID, right? I'm against that wholeheartedly. And if 16-year-olds are on there, well, the parents should allow them, and there should be better monitoring from the platforms itself. Going and doing this like kind of one, it doesn't make sense. It makes more sense for like, say, Meta not to have their algorithm completely go towards attacking children in some of their biggest issues, like weight and body image and visuals and stuff like that. And it's been proven that Meta, Facebook, has done that. So you don't stop people from doing it. You get the platform to do what it's supposed to do, which is stop that crap. By the way, I like Telegram because Telegram doesn't have an algorithm. It's just top down. You put it up, it's there. It's superior. Algorithms are bad, I think. Russian drone strikes. Ukrainian cities surged by 44% in the week following Trump's election victory. 641 attack drones launched during that period. October 1st, November 5th, Ukraine recorded 2,286 Russian drone launches, 145 in a single day on November 10th, highest. Over 3 days after the U.S. election, Russia deployed more than 100 drones. Moscow claims to have intercepted 1,277 drones during the same time frame, averaging 35 per day post-election. ACLA data shows 137 drone attacks occurred November 1st to the 8th. Sumy 64, Dnipro 15, Charna 14, and those are being the most heavily intercepted areas. Excuse me. Israeli soldier reportedly shared a video showing himself moving freely in Syrian territory, heading to a new trench within the separation zone in the occupied Golan. Israel operates freely in Syria, which, of course, supposedly isn't in this war, but there's been a lot of strikes on Damascus and stuff going on there. China has sent weapons to Russia for the first time for use in Ukraine. The EU is preparing sanctions. 2,300 Ukrainian soldiers will return to Ukraine until the end of November after completing their training, of course, in France. President Trump announces the hiring of Stephen Chung as Director of Communications and Sergei Sergio Gore as director of the Presidential Personal Office. Update to the SMO. Situation in Ukraine is reaching a breaking point. Currently, the Russian armed forces are full offensive mode on every front except Kherson. In the north, Russian forces have crossed into the Charkov region and secured multiple localities. Situation around Kupiansk is escalating. Russian forces advancing deeper into the town. Kharkov front remains the most critical. Russian forces attempted to encircle Ukrainian units south of Kharkov, putting 7 villages at risk of encirclement. Tensions are also high on the Veliki Sovoslika front, with Russian forces making significant advances on the southwestern flank. Additionally, Russian army has launched a large-scale offensive on Zaporozhye, pushing towards Orakov and Huliapol. In a notable development today, after nearly 3 years, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz had a telephone call with Putin, and that has been covered, and nothing's changed. Houthis are getting scary. Engineer and physicist said that they've been around. He's been around missiles his whole career, and what he's seen from the Houthis and what they have done in the last 6 months is something that is shocking to him, and that is U.S. Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment, Bill LaPlante. So I guess the Houthis are getting better at what they do, which is a problem for Israel and America. Over 100 members of the Bundestag have brought forward a motion to ban the populist right AfD party. Unclear whether this motion will pass or if it's even considered before the 23rd of February election. If it were passed, whether the German Constitutional Court would fine against the AfD. Meantime, French prosecutors have recommended Marine Le Pen, leader of the populist right National Rally and favorite to become the next president, because they keep doing everything they can to basically work around her being there. Well, she's possibly going to be banned from taking political office for 5 years in relation to a decade-old, air quotes, embezzlement case. So, for all these people over there saying, gradually democracy, banning people that are popular and could potentially win, I think that's the bigger threat to democracy. And again, go find a mirror, take a look, and say, why do people think that we suck? And then fix it. Lebanon, new Israeli airstrike on the southern suburbs of Beirut moments ago. Explosions heard in Nahria, coinciding with ongoing sirens after drone attack. Doug Burgum, staunch supporter of Israel, close confidant of Benjamin Netanyahu, and a good friend of Bill Gates, has been appointed to U.S. Secretary of State by Donald Trump. So has been appointed to U.S. Secretary of State by Donald Trump. That's I don't know if he was state. I thought that was Rubio. That guy, anyway, I'm not quite sure. I think Burgum is interior. So we'll figure it out. Israel is planning to steal Gaza's gas, ? Tel Aviv has granted 12 gas exploration licenses of 6 companies in areas with Palestinian maritime zones. Elijah J. Manier has said Israel is invading Lebanon while 60,000 officers and soldiers of the Lebanese army are sitting there watching. He said it's the army's task to protect Israel and disarm the resistance. That is the only force defending the country. ? Either the army fights for occupiers or fights the occupiers, or it should be dissolved. So I'm happy with the army. RGC Deputy Commander Brigadier General Ali Fadavi once again warned that Iran will definitely respond to Israel's October 26 strikes. Major General Hossein Salami threatened, "You will receive painful blows. Wait for our retaliation." Secretary of the Iranian Council for Securing the Interests of Iran, Mohsen Rosai: "We are preparing for Operation Promise of Truth 3 against Israel. The attack will come exactly at the right time and arrive unexpectedly. The Trump regime is bringing hell on Israel." U.S. CENTCOM published on X that the U.S. Air Force B-52H Stratofortresses long-range strategic bombers flew over the U.S. Central Command area of responsibility November 13th, a few days ago. Estonia road bridge was lost in the capital of Tallinn because it was unable to withstand the transfer of U.S. Army's M1A1 Abrams battle tanks. New bridge will be built on site of the destroyed bridge, which will meet the conditions for the rapid transfer of NATO troops on the eastern flank. Poland, a U.S. military base, has been opened in Radetzko on the Baltic Sea coast, 230 kilometers from the border with Russia. Base is part of a larger NATO defense shield, which includes radar systems capable of intercepting short and medium-range ballistic missiles. There should be a needy discussion about growing tendencies of a new Ronademic for the H5N1. Trump's role as all this, he goes into his little personal thoughts, but yep, a lot of cases. We got more coming. California, they're getting more and more of them, but they're still, like the teens. They're not anything crazy, but concerning. We're watching. Ukraine, Zelensky says he wants to end the war in 2025 by diplomatic means. China's 4 red lines at a meeting in Lima, Peru. Chinese President Xi Jinping pointed out to the still current U.S. President Biden the 4 red lines of China in relations with the United States, according to Xinhua news agency. It is the Taiwan issue, democracy, I don't know if he's talking about ours or theirs, which they don't have one, human rights, and China's ways and system and its right to development are 4 red lines for China. Iran reported that the United States is behind the training of terrorists. Deputy Legal Affairs Commander of the IRGC, General Ali Shamkhani, said the Jaish al-Zolm group is carrying out terrorist attacks against military personnel and civilians using American weapons. Militants admitted that they were trained by U.S. intelligence. Group's field camps are located along the border with Afghanistan and Pakistan. Militants operate in the southeast of Iran in the province of Sistan and Baluchistan. The last terrorist attack was on October 26 when 10 policemen were killed. Air raid alert declared throughout Ukraine. According to the Ukrainian forces, 7 Tu-95S flights have been recorded from the Olenia Air Base. Finland is closely monitoring the base. In case of launches, the missiles will be in the skies of Ukraine around that time, which is come and gone. Caspian Sea area Tu-95s will be present around 6:30 to 7 a.m. In case of a launch from here, missiles in Ukraine airspace are expected around about the same time. German Social Democrats want to replace Scholz. SPD deputies propose to nominate German Defense Minister Pistorius. He is the next one to be in. To replace Scholz, these statements were made at a closed meeting, and the Conservative Party representative Der Spiegel reports the weekly noted that Scholz's reputation is now at rock bottom. The article was published almost immediately after the Chancellor's conversation with Putin. Oregon reports first H5 case in farm worker. California reports 5 more. 52 confirmed human cases of H5N1 in the U.S. in 2024. California has seen half of them. Afraid one day we'll look back at all these numbers and think they are low and actionable. So, California Central Valley has faced a deadly uptick in avian flu. Birds, mammals, several million chickens and turkeys are the latest victims of H5N1. Infected locations in nearby counties, so to where they reside. EC President, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, Russia is trying to blackmail Austria by cutting off gas supplies. She promised that Europe would support Austria. China, at least 8 people were killed and 17 injured in a knife attack in Wuxi City, according to Xinhua news agency. Need a little knife control now. U.S. Department of Defense is preparing for a massive purge in the Pentagon after Trump's inauguration. Good. Israel, massive wave of rockets hit Haifa. Total amount of the funds allocated by the U.S. Congress to Ukraine since the outbreak of war has exceeded $182 billion, according to a report by the Pentagon Inspector General, or PIG. Almost three-quarters of the allocated funds, or $131.36 billion, went to military needs, which, as specified in the auditor's report, only grow every year. Latest in Russia-Ukraine, Russian ground offensive, Kupiansk, progressing. Russians are now on the H-26 highway, several mechanized attacks. Stabilization of the situation is made more difficult from the Ukrainians by the Oskil River to the west, as this not only serves as a natural barrier for the Ukrainians, but also for the Russians. Russians are also managed a breakthrough in Chasiv Yar. According to recent geolocations from the city, there is proof that the Russians are just outside the industrial area in the center. Situation is deteriorating for the Ukrainians. In the direction of Kharkov, Russians launched their first assault operations towards Beretsky. Northeast of the Kharkov, the Russians also managed to secure the area along the fields and forests. Further south, the assault on Trudov, a village directly in front of Usprenivka, is also said to have begun. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson categorically denies a meeting between Iran's UN envoy and Elon Musk. IRGC spokesman accidentally revealed that Iran has advanced Russian S-400 air defense systems. He said, "We are now employing S-300 and S-400 systems, so why did..." Reporter says, "Wait, so S-300 and S-400? Spokesman said, "Yes, no." And then they went to commercial break. Yemen's Ansar Allah announced that they attacked a target in Eilat with a squadron of drones. Hezbollah announces that a part of the ongoing Khaybar operations, they attacked several bases in Haifa, located up to 40 kilometers from the Lebanese border. Haifa Technical Base, Israel Air Force, Haifa Naval Base, Israel Navy, Stella Maris Base, Maritime Monitoring, Tira Carmel Base, Logistics and Transport. For the first time, the Nesher Base, Fuel Depot. So, Alberta becomes the first non-U.S. state to join the coalition, working to avoid future U.S. tariffs. Alberta signs on the U.S. Energy Pact. Southwest Airlines Boeing plane was hit by gunfire on Dallas runway. Joe Rogan guarantees Biden voted for Trump. President has never been happier in his life, he said. Trump nominates fracking magnate Chris Wright as energy secretary. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that if a decision is issued against them in the Board of Governors of the IAEA, it will be met with Iran's countermeasures, and they will take measures in their nuclear program. So, this is the International Atomic Energy Agency. That's the people that watch out for nukes and stuff. Hezbollah fired some 80 rockets from Lebanon that crossed into Israel today, according to an IDF tally. In the past week, the IDF has seen a decrease in the number of rockets fired by Hezbollah. North Koreans' weapon against South Korea, deafening noise. Since July, North Korea has ramped up its use of loudspeakers along the border, blasting unsettling sounds for up to 24 hours daily, escalating tensions along the demilitarized zone. Information in the news has been reported 2 days ago and has been confirmed. According to the Financial Times, North Korea has supplied Russia with 50 domestically produced 170 millimeter M1989 Coxswain self-propelled howitzers and 20 upgraded 240 millimeter multiple launch rocket systems, or MLRS, capable of firing standard rockets and guided missiles. So, Netanyahu's house has been hit again. 2 rockets fired by Hezbollah landed around his house in Caesarea. Donald Trump plans to bankrupt Iran with a new maximum pressure plan. According to Financial Times, his planned maximum sanctions on the oil that Iran exports. 91% of the oil that Iran exports goes to China. Trump still seems to be living in 2016, according to this guy. Hezbollah began striking Israel's energy infrastructure. They targeted a gas facility belonging to the IOF in eastern Haifa, 40 kilometers from the Lebanese border. Pentagon has just failed its 7th audit, says it cannot account for what its $824 billion budget has been spent on. President Trump has reportedly decided against having the FBI conduct background checks on his cabinet nominees, choosing to use private investigators instead. Mike Pence has called on Republican senators to reject RFK Jr. to lead the Health and Human Services, and he called him a bad pick. Senate candidate John McClain, who was running for Tucson area District 17 seat, was tragically struck and killed in a crash early Friday on Tucson's east side, according to police. CDC employees are reportedly preparing to submit their resignation letters in large numbers following the announcements that RFK Jr. will head the Department of Health and Human Services. Department of Defense reportedly ordered an industrial shredder following reports that Trump had won the election. I don't know the validity of it. Kind of hope it's true. General Electrical blackout in several Venezuelan states. First case of new strain of monkeypox confirmed in the U.S., according to the New York Post. Health officials in California report the first U.S. patient infected with the clade 1 strain of monkeypox after back from Africa. Although the strain is known to be more severe, the threat of the new disease remains very low. Risk to the public, experts say. Hezbollah says we rejected the Israeli-American proposal for a ceasefire. Supreme Leader of the IRGC and Iran, Ali Khamenei, has reportedly went into a coma at the age of 85, shortly before he secretly appointed his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, as his successor. This is Amir Sarfati, not one really to lie. So he also says that there's unconfirmed reports that Khamenei is dead. I haven't heard that anywhere else. He'd know if anyone. And President Trump is reportedly planning on receiving his maximum pressure strategy to bankrupt Iran as soon as he takes office. His transition team is already preparing executive orders targeting Iran, including sanctions on oil exports, according to Financial Times. According to the report, the maximum pressure campaign is designed to stop Iran from being able to build up its military and continue to fund its network of proxy groups in the region. And that, my friends, is your crisis report. Hit that like button. Do the subscribe thing. Join us nightly as we go through the intel. Yep, got to 45. I knew this was going to be a longer one, but yep, most comprehensive news on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here, friends. God bless. Stack, stock, stick to the plan. Keep behind the swivel and your powder dry, and we'll keep on coming by here. You can join me on Gab, Twitter, X, Truth, Minds. Subscribe, Start, and Locals are a few dollars a month, but you get the kind of stuff that gets you kicked off Facebook there. This is all transcript on Substack, so preppernow.substack.com. And we appreciate you being here. We're going to take it on over to PrepperNow. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.